this is Roger again from Tail Gunner Kennel in Mankato. This next segment we're going to talk about is what we call imprinting to bird scent and gun noise. Now that your dog is a little bit older, it's really important that you introduce the dog to gunfire correctly. One of the worst things you can do is to take your dog out to the trap range to see if he's gun shy. Dogs are not born gun shy. Dogs become gun shy because of things that people do to them. Dogs can also become bird shy or water shy. So it's really important that you take the right steps to make sure that you don't get your dog spooked early on. Now we want to introduce a dog to gunfire probably around 5 months of age. You know, they're growing up, they're listening to all the sounds around us. Maybe you've heard some vacuum cleaners or lawnmowers and things like that. But you want to make sure that you keep them away from fireworks at this age. You know, when the 4th of July is around, be very careful about these dogs running around the yard during fireworks. When we introduce a dog to gunfire, what we want to do is introduce them to birds first. So we're going to have them playing with maybe a frozen pigeon so they get used to the scent of a bird that's not going to spook them. And let them play with it. This training isn't about retrieving, but it's about associating what this smell is. Even though your dog's going to be a waterfowl dog, this is still bird scent to them. Down the road, we're going to introduce them to a live bird. And the way we do it is initially with what's called a lock wing, where we take a live bird and we lock the wings so that the first time they smell and see a live bird, the bird does not flush, does not slap them in the face, it does not spook them. Down the road, when we introduce them to gunfire, what we want to do is introduce them to a 22 blank. And a 22 blank is a very low sound compared to a shotgun, but we're not going to shoot this right over the top of the dog's head. We're going to let them play with a live bird for a while the blank gun is shooting off in the distance, maybe 75 to 100 yards away. Down the road, as the dog progresses, we're going to move up to a 410. And then we're going to start shooting some live birds for the dog with a 410, because we want to make the transition into the bigger guns down the road. Eventually we're going to get into a 20 gauge and then a 12 gauge. And the reason we want to take those steps is that the sound is definitely different. And if we run into a problem at the 20 gauge stage, we're certainly not going to move to the 12 gauge yet. And we're talking about trap load. We're not talking about magnum duck loads at this point, but we do want to get them associating sound and birds together. So when we're using these live birds, we're going to lock the wing. The dog's going to play with this right out here in the open yard. He's going to be chasing around on a check cord. We're going to let him play with it. We're going to let him retrieve it, build a lot of desire. That's what we're trying to do. As the dog gets real excited, we're going to unlock the wings. And we're going to take a rubber band and we're going to rubber band this part of the wing. And what's going to happen, this bird's going to naturally want to flap and fly and flutter, and that's going to actually slap the dog in the face a few times, and we want to see that dog's desire to chase and to be aggressive. If your dog is backing off or is a little bit spooked by this, then you need to go back to locking the wing of the bird. But we really are looking for our dog to become aggressive once they start seeing the flapping. Down the road, we'll actually have the dog chase a live bird like this, and the dog will be running around and we'll just do something like that and the bird will fly off. And when the dog is chasing it aggressively and isn't spooked by it, then we know he's not bird shy. During that time we're shooting guns, he's not gun shy. We can move on to more formal things from there. But it's real important that you take the steps from the little blank pistol all the way up to the 410, the 20 gauge, and the 12 gauge, and do this with live birds. It's a lot better if you do it with live birds than if you're using bumpers. And you want to make sure that you're not around fireworks. Don't take the dog to a trap range when they're little, and certainly no magnum gunfire or group shots at this time. We're just trying to get this dog associating the sound with the birds. Again, this is Roger from Tail Gunner Kennel in Mankato, and we thank you for your time.